whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, which in the ancient Hebrew is the Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS who taught us this truth by the Holy Spirit. Honors to the brothers risking their life and freedom to push the gospel, risking their life and freedom to do so. Peace and blessings to the elect, which will consist of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans who make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, according to scripture and according to prophecy. But the elect would be 1/3 of the Israelites who in the last days will return back to the Most High to receive salvation. While the 2/3 of Israel who don't turn back to the Most High in time be destroyed with America. And that's all according to prophecy. We back with another lesson through the mercy of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And the lesson is going to be titled Fire is Required This Time. Again, fire is required this time. And what we're going to talk about is the second death, which is the lake of fire. But we're also going to talk about the first death as well, which was that great flood during the time of Noah. Now, the great flood, in the ancient world, in the lake of fire that's going to come to the earth in this generation, they both served as a destruction to the earth for its respective time period. And the thing about both, whether it be the Great Flood or the Lake of Fire, is not a random act of violence, like the world make it seem to be. Like the Lord was just so pissed off that he crashed out and randomly thought about, let's flood the earth. No, when the Lord flooded the earth, it was well thought out. And the flood served the purpose of cleansing the earth. Because water is a cleansing agent. Water cleans everything. So the flood was well thought out for its time period. Again, served the purpose of cleansing the earth as well as destroying the wicked. Now, the Lord choosing fire here at the end. Again, that's not a random act of violence. Like the Lord just so pissed off, he like, you know what, F it. I'm about to use fire this time. Y'all done made me mad. Yeah, the Lord is pissed off, but the fire, again, it was carefully thought out. Again, as the flood cleansed the earth, the fire is going to purify the earth. Because fire is a purifier. And then the flood, it served its purpose for its time period. The water was sufficient back then. But here at the end of this time period, again, the title of the lesson, fire is required. And fire is going to purify the earth because it needs to be purified. So we're going to get into it. And we did a lesson on this last week. Why did the Lord kill all the other animals plus killing man? Very quick review for the sake of the lesson to tie it all together and come at it at a different angle. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and we're going to start at verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was continually evil, as it is today. And it repented the Lord that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. Why was the Lord grieved in his heart that he made man? Yeah, man was wicked. The heart of man was full of wickedness, but let's jump here real quick to the book of 2nd Ezra 15, and we're going to start at verse 5. This is the thing about wickedness that we got to understand. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. That's speaking of now, but it applies to the time of Noah as well. And that destruction was the flood. Now remember, the Lord said God saw that wickedness of man was great. This is the thing about wickedness when we read verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, as it is today. The whole earth is polluted due to wickedness. And wickedness ain't just evil or the act of doing evil. A wickedness is on all levels. A evil, the acts of doing evil, actual pollution, trash, toxins, also doctrines and philosophies, the way people live, the way people think. Those are, different forms of pollution that's polluted the whole earth. And it all comes from the wicked. It says their hurtful works are fulfilled. Now, this was true also during the time of Noah before the flood, that wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth. So that's why the Lord was grieved in his heart that he created man. Yeah, it's not like man was wicked, but the rest of the earth was good. The animals were good. No, the wickedness of man, it actually damaged the earth as it is today. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created off the face of the earth. Because the source of the wickedness, the source of the pollution and the problems in the world at that time came through man, came through the wicked. I will destroy man who I've created from off the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping things, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. So the Lord said he's going to destroy man from off the face of the earth, but also the beasts and the creepy things and the fowls of the air. And we touched on this in a previous lesson. Why did the Lord clean the animals? Well, the animals were affected by the wickedness. Because when you come back to the book of 2nd Ezra, 15 and 6, it says, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Not just the earth itself, but everything therein. People, plants, animals, everything was polluted due to the wickedness that was in the earth at that time. Now, real quick, we gonna come here. This is the book of Isaiah 24 and 5. The earth also is defiled. What's another word for defiled? To be polluted, contaminated, to be corrupted. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Under what inhabitants? We're going to answer that question. Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. So again, the earth will be defiled under the wicked. Because when you get Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He curved the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Who's that wicked today? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And under the hand of the wicked, under the hand of the white man, the earth is defiled. Again, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants, is defiled under the wicked, who the earth is given into. The earth is defiled because of the people that's empowered. They transgress the laws. They don't keep none of the laws of the book. That's why the earth is out of whack. That's why the earth is polluted. And now it's the same during the time of the great flood in the time of Noah. There was a wicked in the earth back then. And under the wicked being in power back then was the earth exceedingly polluted from the wickedness. So the Lord had to flood them out. He had to drown them. And in doing so, not only did it destroy the wicked, being man, but it cleansed the earth from those hurtful works. So back now we're gonna get this. This is the book of Genesis 7:17. I think we're gonna get through 21. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went up upon the face of the earth. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth. All the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered, mountains too. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl, cattle, and of beasts, and of creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. And guess what? Every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in dry land, they all died. So yeah, so that's why going back to Second Ezra 15:6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the earth. The wickedness came from the wicked, which would have been man, you know, who would have been in power, just like Esau the white man is in power today. And under the hand of the wicked, the whole earth was polluted. Their hurtful works are fulfilled. That's why going up a verse, the Lord said, I will bring plagues upon the earth, sword, famine, death, and destruction. And what was that destruction during the time of Noah? It was that great flood, again, which killed the wicked and it cleansed the earth of the pollution. Now, whatever that pollution was, you can speculate. But the wickedness had polluted all life on earth. It polluted the earth, people, plants, animals. And the water was sufficient in cleansing and renewing the earth during the time of Noah. But we're going to show how wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the earth today. We're going to show a few quick examples, got a few videos, a few articles, a few screenshots. We're going to get started with this first video. So, how the earth was before the flood in the time of Noah, the earth is like that again today. But it's way worse than it was back then. So, again, Genesis 7:5, God saw that wickedness of man was great in the earth. Wickedness is even greater in the earth today. And that the imagination and the thoughts of his heart was only continually evil. It's worse today. And it repented of the Lord that he had made man upon the earth, and it grieved him in his heart. The Lord is grieved even more here at the end than he was in the time of Noah. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from off the face of the earth. So the Lord say the earth is in the same condition as it was when I flooded it the first time. So he's come to the same conclusion. He's going to destroy man from off the face of the earth again. Except it's not going to be by water. He promised to do it by fire. And that's why again we get Second Ezra um, 15:6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Hurtful works mean it's damaging and destroying the earth. It's destroying life on earth. And we're going to show some of these hurtful works right now. So we see the title to this video. It says, Microplastics are everywhere. How can you limit your exposure? Now, microplastics, that's one of the many hurtful works of the wicked. And the earth is exceedingly polluted with plastics, microplastics. That's just one example. But Let's grab this.
Plastic is everywhere. It's in containers and bags and bottles, a convenient staple of American homes and businesses for decades.
Plastics help save you from dents and broken bones.
But it can also break down into tiny pieces called microplastics that are less than 5 millimeters in diameter, some a fraction of the width of a strand of hair, and nanoplastics, which are even tinier. Researchers are still learning what it means for us, but they say these plastic pieces are getting inside our bodies through what we eat and drink. At the University of Rhode Island, microplastics scientist Victoria Fulfer, who works with a nonprofit researching plastics pollution, set up a demonstration to show us.
First up, Victoria, a very common item a lot of people have in their homes.
Exactly. Plastic cutting boards are everywhere, so we're going to cut this onion and see how much microplastic comes off.
After we sliced and rinsed a couple pieces of the onion, the filtered water revealed what Fulfer expected: tiny pieces of plastic from the cutting board.
So what are we looking at right there? That looks like a piece of red plastic.
Exactly. That is most likely a microplastic that came straight off that cutting board.
And when she cut up an entire onion, we found many more.
All of these red particles are from that cutting board.
And that's ending up in what we eat, which ends up in our bodies.
Exactly.
A recent study from the University of Nebraska found heating a plastic container in the microwave caused more microplastics and nanoplastics to get into food than refrigerating the container or keeping it at room temperature. So we wanted to see how much plastic would be released from a common black plastic takeout container. These black plastic pieces came off a takeout container Fulfer microwaved.
A lot of containers that we see say microwave safe. What does that actually mean?
So mostly when a container says microwave safe, it means it's safe for the container to be in the microwave. It's not going to melt. But that doesn't mean that it's safe for you as a person.
And that's why Esau the white man is the damn devil. That's why he's the wicked. Now we all see that on different kitchen utensils and dishes. It'll say microwave or dishwasher safe. As she say, that means it's not gonna be destroyed if you put this bowl in the microwave. This cup or this utensil is not gonna be destroyed if you put it in a dishwasher. That's what it means to be dishwasher safe or microwave safe. That doesn't mean it's safe for you to eat off of it after it's been in the microwave, because exposure to heat increases the amount of microplastics and nanoplastics that are transferred from the container to your food and to your body. And then even the dishwasher, it breaks those materials down over time. You don't see it, but the stuff breaks off into your food. And then now it's in your body. But that's why you saw the white man is the damn devil. Microwave, dishwasher safe don't mean it's safe for you as a person to use. It just means, again, that the object, the dish or the utensil, will be all right.
As microwaving plastic.
We're gonna hear that again before we continue.
See, say microwave safe. What does that actually mean?
So mostly when a container says microwave safe, it means it's safe for the container to be in the microwave. It's not going to melt. But that doesn't mean that it's safe for you as a person, because microwaving plastic allows any chemicals that are in those plastics to leach from that container into the food that you're heating up.
What about these plastic containers used for leftovers? Fulfer microwaved peas in one.
This is something a lot of people use to take their lunch to work or to store food in the fridge.
Exactly.
And that's the plastic you found?
That's the plastic that came off of it, yeah.
And what about those paper cups used for hot drinks? They're often lined with plastic, and when we heated water and stirred it, that's what we found.
Here, we can see 2 polyethylene fragments.
Researchers say all that plastic in our food and drinks might be adding up in our bodies. A recent study found high levels of microplastics in human brains, and there appeared to be more in people with dementia. But the researchers don't know whether more plastic actually caused those symptoms. Another study found people with microplastics in the plaque in their arteries had a higher risk of heart attack, stroke, or death, though it also doesn't prove a direct cause. Dr. Leo.
See, so that's how bad it is, the water bottles that we drink from. A lot of people got non-stick cookware, plastic containers, plastic utensils, plastic dishes. What about when you go out to eat and you get your food in them foam boxes? Or a lot of your food come in plastic baggage, plastic bottles, and coffee cups made out of foam. And another thing I want to mention real quick, hey, there's another form of pollution that's exceedingly polluted the earth. Another hurtful work. It would be forever chemicals. Look that up. Esau done created chemicals that can't be destroyed by normal means. Unless something extraordinary happens, these chemicals would be in your bodies, they would be in the animals, they would be in the air, they would be in the earth forever. Again, unless something extraordinary happens. But yeah, a lot of our stuff is plastic all over the damn place. That's why they say, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Now, I want to get something real quick, because it says the whole earth. Let's get this in the book of Isaiah 24, verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Remember, we got that. The earth is polluted, is corrupted, is contaminated, is destroyed under the inhabitants who would be the wicked. He saw Edom the white man, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. But let's get this word in the Hebrew for earth, because it said the earth is defiled. Let's look up this word for earth. Let's look at it in the Hebrew to look into this word earth deeper. H776. Now this word for earth, it says the land, the earth, the whole earth. So yeah, the earth, it will be the land, the air, the water, the trees, etc. And that makes sense. So when it says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, hey, that makes sense. The land, air, water, and trees. But let's read down. Earth, it says the inhabitants. The inhabitants. So when it says the earth is defiled, not only is it the land, the water, and the air, but the inhabitants of the earth, which would be the people. But guess what? It ain't just the people. That's all life on earth. That's the animals as well. So back to the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 7, when the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created off the face of the earth, both man and beast and creepy thing and the fowls of the air. Why? Because the earth was defiled. Not just man, not just the earth itself, but the other life forms, such as the beast, the cattle, the fowls of the air, the creeping things. They were defiled or polluted or corrupted as well by the wicked being in power. And that's even today. The inhabitants of the earth, they defiled today. Example we going into right now would be microplastics. Now they said something concerning microplastics. We're going to take it back a little bit because again, they're accumulating in the body. Now, look at how microplastics affect your health.
In our food and drinks might be adding up in our bodies. A recent study found high levels of microplastics in human brains, and there appeared to be more in people with dementia.
Microplastics in the brain appears to be more microplastics in people with dementia. A dementia is increasing in the earth. It don't mean that it's due to the microplastics because that's just one factor in the equation. When you take different contaminants, different toxins like microplastics, the chemtrails that we breathe, the poisons that's in the water and the food supply, people being overworked, not getting enough sleep, all that together leads to an increase in dementia. You can't say microplastics causes more dementia on its own, but more microplastics in the body is associated with dementia because when these different things come together, it's more damaging to the body, like the forever chemicals, the heavy metals in the food, the microplastics, the nanoplastics, 5G radiation all over the place. All that together is going to cause all kinds of disease and illness. That's why the scriptures say the earth also is defiled. The earth is talking about the people as well. But guess what? It ain't just people that got microplastics. The animals got microplastics. Yeah, the animals got microplastics in them. But guess what? The plants do as well. The soil is microplastics in your food. Because when animals eat this stuff, it's in a system now. And then that's why again, Second Ezra 15:6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, their hurtful works are fulfilled. Microplastics, that's a hurtful work from Esau, Edom, the white man. It's taking peace from the earth. It's taking good health away from the people and from the animals and from the earth itself.
The researchers don't know whether more plastic actually caused those symptoms. Another study found people with microplastics in the plaque in their arteries had a higher risk of heart attack, stroke, or death.
You see that? People who had microplastics in their arteries, higher chance of heart attack, stroke, or death. Now, microplastics on its own is not going to cause any of those things. But when you take microplastic, which is an environmental stressor, and you pair it with an unhealthy diet, heavy metals, forever chemicals, other toxins, that's what makes it dangerous. And that's that hurtful work that's being fulfilled. And it's really microplastics in all your organs. It came out, it must have been last year, people brought it up. Male, your testicles are full of microplastics, leading to what? ED, low T, low sperm count, infertility, feminine men. Microplastics filling up your testicles. That's the hurtful works of the wicked being fulfilled. This is from the hand of Esau, Edom, the white man. Because it don't matter who used the plastic, where did the plastic come from? Who manufactures it? Who created it? Esau, Edom, so-called white man. It wasn't no such thing as plastic until he came into earth.
It also doesn't prove a direct cause. Dr. Leo Tresande, who directs NYU's Center for Investigation of Environmental Hazards, says potential health effects could be wide-ranging.
We're talking about cardiovascular mortality. We're also talking about hormone-sensitive cancers, breast, thyroid, ovarian, not to mention kidney cancer that have been associated with these chemical exposures.
In a statement,
When you hear that hormonal cancers, cancer of the thyroid, kidney, ovarian, prostate, breast cancers from microplastics. Again, that's why it's safe for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And it would be the wickedness of Esau, Edom, the white man, the way he's running the earth. And one of the many forms of pollution that's polluted the whole earth will be plastics and microplastics. And guess what? Their hurtful works are fulfilled. It's done its damage already to the environment, to the people, to the animals. And again, that's Isaiah 24:5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. The earth, not only the land, the air, and the water, but the inhabitants of the earth. Not only the people, but also the animals, the bugs, everything. Everything has been defiled under the hand of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, which is the wicked. Now, something I want to make mention before we move on, it don't stop with you. You pass it on to your next generation. So the toxins and plastics that's in our body, when we have kids, them toxins get passed on. That's why you have more birth defects, cerebral palsy. But again, that's why the scriptures say their hurtful works are fulfilled. Esau, the white man, and his wickedness is so hurtful, so damaging to the earth. Not only will it mess you up for a lifetime, he's already destroying the next generation. That's why it says testicles are filled with microplastics. He's already damaging the next generation before they get here. That's how hurtful his works are. And that would be the hand by Esau Edom, the so-called white man. But we show the effects of plastics and microplastics on the people, how it's affecting us. And this was very brief. But we're going to show what it's doing to the earth. Now, for those who don't know, there's something that's called Trash Island. Again, Trash Island. It's an island just full of trash floating in the middle of the ocean. Now check this out. We're going to show that now.
Did you know there's a floating garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean? It's twice the size of Texas and filled with 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic. That's where our plastic waste ends up, right in the ocean.
Hey, see that? Plastics and trash in the ocean. Twice the size of Texas. And that's what the lesson is titled, Fire is Required This Time. The first destruction, the Lord flooded the earth. If the Lord flooded the earth again, this trash would still be here. Microplastics, forever chemicals, will still be all over the earth. That's why fire is required. So that's why when the Lord said, he wouldn't flood the earth again, he wasn't just being nice. He understood that next time something greater would be required. And when he said he would use fire, that wasn't a random thought. The Lord was being strategic. It was well thought out. That fire, that nuclear fire, gonna get rid of stuff like this. And that's whether the nuclear fire is from a nuclear missile or from the chariot, what the world calls UFOs. So yeah, a floating patch, a floating island of trash twice the size of Texas in the oceans. Now check out this next one.
A garbage patch is a concentration of plastic and other trash and debris that has accumulated over a wide area in the central North Pacific Ocean. It was created by ocean currents that brought plastic and other trash together, creating a dense area of pollution. It's not a solid island, but a wide area of floating plastic and debris. Estimates suggest that the patch is about 1.6 million square kilometers in size, which is twice the size of Texas in the United States. There are other garbage patches, but the North Pacific is the biggest.
That's the point. There's other garbage patches in the oceans. But this one that we're talking about, Trash Island, is just the biggest. So it's more than one. But that's what scriptures say, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So this don't just affect the land. As we say, it affects the water as well. It's destroying, the coral reefs, underwater plants and animals. Fishes, other animals eat this stuff. Now they defiled, we eat the fish, and we get them microplastics. Not to mention we all use water. So, all the earth's water supply got microplastics in it. So again, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. A garbage patch like that, again, no matter how much you flood the earth, you're not going to get rid of it. Because as they say here, the different currents of the water, it just brings all of the trash and the plastics together. That's why this time fire is required. The Lord already knew that the wickedness of men would pollute the earth again, but the earth will be polluted on a whole nother level. So polluted that not even the water will be able to wash it away. But the Lord will bring forth that cleansing agent, which is that fire. This is going to be that nuclear fire. Now, let's get on to the next one. And this is not Trash Island. This is off the coast somewhere in South America. But the thing is, they dump a lot of trash into the ocean, and then it often gathers off the coast of different countries across the world. So this is somewhere South America, not actually Trash Island, but this is a close-up to show you what it actually looks like. See that? Flood waters can't do nothing with this. You need that fire, that nuclear fire. Plastics, forever chemicals, heavy metals. You need fire for that. This stuff will be here forever if the fire don't come. But again, that's why I say the wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And that would be the wickedness of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. When there's wicked in the earth, it's going to affect the course of the earth. It's going to affect all life on earth. That's why I say the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. We might have to make this a series to show why water wouldn't be sufficient and why the fire is required now. And again, we talking about plastics and microplastics. This is just one of many ways that the earth and everything therein has been defiled. But this is what it looks like up close. And believe it or not, the very plastic and trash we looking at is affecting our health today. One way or another, we eat and drink something that's coming from this water. Microplastics don't go away, it's only transferred from one place to another, one organism to another. But again, that's why the Lord said their hurtful works are fulfilled. Esau has done heavy damage to the earth and everything therein.